Hi everybody, I have a special guest today who is here, sitting here, Alan Cohen. He's in Hawaii and I'm living in Germany, so the time difference is quite big, but I'm quite honored that I have him today. So Alan, thank you for being here, and then could you tell about yourself a little bit?
Well, I've always been on a spiritual path. I studied with lots of gurus and teachers. I discovered A Course in Miracles many years ago, which made a big difference in my life. I established a life coach training about 13 years ago, which has been very successful. And it's my joy to share ideas that come to me and work with people who are sincere and growing and expressing themselves spiritually. And I feel very grateful to be able to work with people who are open and willing and have good hearts, and to share big ideas, which I get inspired by. I learn as much from coaching as I give. And it's an ever widening path. I feel very blessed.
Thank you. I think I was one of them who was totally impressed by you and then also healed by you. And I was in Alan's training course in 2018. And then this was a life-changing event for me. And since then, I worked as a professional holistic life coach, and I usually do the private sessions online or for over 20 different countries.
Wow.
And yeah, so roughly these days I do 600 sessions per year.
Wow.
So
that's great.
You made it, actually. You made it for me, and I'm really appreciating for that. Yeah.
Well, I congratulate you for being industrious to go out and create a coaching path. You were in a corporate job, I believe, and you had the leap of faith to launch out and build your coaching career, and you deserve all the success. You're helping lots of people. So I'm very proud of you as a student and as a teacher.
Thank you. It was a big transformation for me as well.
Yeah.
And this idea to invite you to my channel was also, I was quite inspired for my own transformation, but of course, through my coaching career, I learned a lot of clients, and they are all on the way for the transformation. And then being connected to themselves, as well as being connected to the other people or in the other world. And for me, that was a reason for this year, 2022, especially. I want to give the message as to be connected. Then I wanted to share my channel with somebody else as well. Yeah, so this is the opportunity. So I have a couple of questions for you today. And life coaching was really life-changing experience for me. But I'm still on my journey. So after 20 years, for me, life coaching means probably different. You have quite a long journey. So I was very interested in what does life coaching mean in your life right now?
Well, it's just a new name for an old process called healing. And, Buddha said that everybody's suffering somehow. Even people who seem perfect on the surface have inner issues, and everybody's looking for inner peace and connection and wholeness and happiness. And so coaching is a process by which you help the client discover where their blocks may stand to their well-being, and you help them peel away those blocks so the inner light can come forth. It's a process of awakening where clients reclaim their power that they've given away, where they find worthiness, where they felt unworthy, where they feel empowered, where they felt disempowered. So it's a shift from deficit living to creative, expansive living. In my system, the coach does not give advice or tell the client what to do. Absolutely. Instead, we trust that the client is brilliant in his or her own way, and we draw forth the answers from the client so they can own them and be empowered and be responsible for them. and they walk away not needing the coach. They can come back if they want to, but we really want to empower the client to access their own inner guidance. That's one of the main themes we teach.
Even through all the coaching sessions, I observed this is a different story, that if you give the tips to the people, etc., is a totally different thing than you yourself find the truth in you. It has a totally different energy and power.
It does.
And if you touch that, actually the world is changing and you are transformed, you are healed immediately. And I learned that the length of the coaching or how long you do the coaching session doesn't really matter. Actually, once you touch that point, that's it.
That's the gift. Yeah. And I do a program each week called the Coaching Room. It's a free online coaching format, and most people interact with me for like 10 minutes at the most, 5 to 10 minutes, and a lot of them have a significant aha during that time, because they have the intention, like nobody comes in the room to argue with me. It's not the nature. I mean, people disagree, that's fine, but they're all sincere and they really want to learn and grow. And so because that's their intention, because I share that intention, I want them to learn and grow too, there's a powerful chemistry and something happens quickly. And they walk away feeling, wow, I knew the answer all along, and Alan just helped me find my own answer. So it's a really exciting process. Some people can be in therapy for many years, and they don't get very far. They can get some benefit, of course, but it's really possible to have healing and awakening in a short time if you're ripe and ready and the intention is there.
You did it to me as well. Do you remember? Probably you don't remember.
Okay. Well, tell everybody your experience.
It was actually a short conversation with you in 2018. And at the time, I was really wondering if I quit my company in corporate life and go ahead for coaching career or not. I mean, I have already almost decided, but I have no courage, or I needed a little bit push for that. And then in that moment, I shared my thoughts, and you told me, okay, and then you can recommend all other people other than you to go ahead, but for yourself, you cannot say go ahead. What does it mean? How do you feel for that? And then I felt so bad, really bad for me. I mean, it is so pitiful and then so sad, because I can tell everybody else than me, go ahead, it'll be okay, but I couldn't tell that to me. And then that was the moment. That was it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So something sparked inside you that inspired you to live the teaching instead of just we can always tell other people, can't we?
Yeah.
But you decided, I want to embody the principles I'm sharing, and you were highly motivated to do so, and you did it. You flew out of your corporate job into your new career. So I'm so proud of you. That's really exciting. What a wonderful moment that was. It was just one moment, but something clicked and many doors opened.
Yes, and it was just one moment. That's why I still remember that. Because it was like a kind of, for 1 year long running process, probably I don't really remember that moment, but it was really 5 minutes. That was it.
Yeah. Well, all it takes is a moment of awakening and everything shifts. So you did it, and I'm so happy you did it. Now you have a whole new life.
Exactly. And it's not so difficult. I mean, there were some tough moments, but it is not that scary, I would say.
Yeah. There are many therapies and teachings where students are encouraged to become dependent on the teacher or the therapist, and that's not healthy, because then they keep running back to the therapist or the psychic or the guru for advice. But the real guru lives inside. The best gurus will tell you that the guru lives inside. In English, it's the word guru is spelled G-U-R-U.
Mm-hmm.
G-U-R-U. Mm-hmm. So the real guru is a mirror to the client's inner guru.
And what was the most powerful moment that you experienced in your coaching career? Do you remember some special moments for yourself?
There are really many. I remember I was working with a Japanese man who his father had died, and he left his son with like $500,000 in gambling debts.
Okay.
And as you well know, the honor of the family in Japan is so important. And this son felt so overburdened with this debt that he was really weighted down. So I just felt so much for him. And in the coaching session, we just cried together because I felt his burden. And then we kind of worked our way out of it, where he reframed this as an opportunity. And this was an opportunity to help his father and help his family. And he got really motivated to build a career and repay the debt. And even if he didn't do it, he felt free because he was carrying a burden of guilt. It wasn't so much the debt that was burdening him, but the guilt. And we helped him love his father anyway and love himself anyway. Mm-hmm. And he achieved a real shift in perception from burden to freedom. Mm. And that was huge for him. He came to my programs for many years, really nice guy. And, that kind of transformation from somebody who was so contracted and so in pain to somebody who drops their burden and their shoulders drop and their face lightens up and they have courage. And he got married too, by the way. And, to me, to go deep with somebody who's in pain and then help walk them out of it, there's no greater reward in life. I can't imagine doing anything more happy for me.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take actually from the burden to freedom?
Well, it was instant. I mean, his psychological shift was instant.
Okay, yeah.
Like because he was able to dump the guilt and dump the responsibility. So, he became free spiritually immediately because he had changed his mind. But it was that shift in attitude that was his real healing. And that's, in coaching, we're not so much going for behavioral changes, although it's important, as we're going for attitudinal changes. The Course in Miracles says that a miracle is a shift in perception. So if we can shift a client's perception, that's where the healing lives, and then the behaviors will follow. But if you try to do behavior change without shifting perception, it's useless because we're spiritual beings, and it's how we think about things that makes or breaks our lives.
So I think your knowledge and experience based a lot from the Course in Miracles. And do you still study or do you still learn new things from them?
Yeah, I mean, Course has been extremely important to me, but it's not the Course itself, it's the principles of the Course. And the principles are universal, even if you never see the Course in Miracles. And so the Course is based on self-love and self-acceptance and forgiveness and recognizing our spiritual identity. And those are the factors that make your life happy, because if you don't know who you are, you're not going to be happy. So, we tried to, you spoke about connection at the beginning of our interview. It's so important to help clients get connected to themselves and their life and the universe. And most people are in pain because they feel disconnected, with the wars and the pandemic and economics, like people feel so cut off and so alienated. And so if we can help them feel connected to their own heart and their own life and the universe, well, that's where the healing begins.
Yeah, I also see from a lot of clients that the intention is mostly the good direction, But sometimes this intention and yourself is a totally different direction. And if they don't realize that actually you meant really good thing, that's why they did that, but it doesn't actually work at all. It brought completely wrong result in a wrong direction. And then I also try to adjust yourself in this straight way. How to say that? Alignment.
Alignment. Yeah.
To bring alignment. And then this is just, the problem. All the problem is almost like melting away. This is quite amazing moment.
Well, that's very beautifully said. And it shows that you can't, most people say, what do I need to do? But it's really, what do I need to know? It's a little bit about action, but mostly about awareness. Right action springs from awareness, but awareness doesn't always spring from action. So we always work from the inside out. It's the inner person that needs the transformation. And from the inner transformation, the outer transformation follows naturally without struggle.
I think you mentioned also about intention. How do you use intention for your daily lives? I mean, we talked about a lot of clients. I guess you use intention also for your daily lives.
Yeah, it's a good question because everything that's happening out there in the inner world reflects our intention. And you're always getting what you're wanting. And people say, well, I wanted a mate, but I didn't get it. Well, not really. I work with so many people who say, I can't find my soulmate. I asked the woman, tell me about your relationships with men. Oh, men are such jerks. She said, they all want sex, and one was too hairy, and one wants me to pay for myself. And she had all these judgments about men. So I said, can you see what you're doing? You're going like this. I want a partner, but you're going like this. Because more of you does not want a partner than wants a partner. So we start talking about, what are your experiences with men? What are your beliefs about men? And how could you gain by having a partner? How would you lose by having a partner? And so we start to shine the light on the client's inner intentions and see if we can shift her to get aligned with her intention to have a partner instead of her intention to not have a partner. But as long as she thinks that she's a victim, or there's not enough available men, or the men are jerks, those are all working against her. And so she really has to find the place inside her where her desire is so strong that it overcomes any fears or obstacles to it. A few weeks ago, I was coaching somebody who she'd been divorced for like 10 years, and she really wanted a partner. She had some dates, but they didn't work out. And then she said, in the coaching session, we came up with the affirmation, I'm open and willing and ready to have a great life partner.
Great. Yeah.
So she began to say that affirmation, and then she came to the coaching room a week later with this guy sitting beside her. And she said, I met my partner, and, online, and they winked at each other, and they met, and they had coffee, and now he's in her house. And it was like, really? And he was a nice guy, too. He spoke as well. But it was when she finally got, I'm open and ready and willing to have a great life partner. When that clicked, that became her dominant intention. All of her fears disappeared in the face of that affirmation, and then it manifested. So he was a mirror of her stronger intention.
I see similar cases, and then also sometimes in job,
Yes.
You want to get a new job, but you have a totally different intention, and then but once you change it, then you get it immediately. That's amazing.
It's true. It's true. You're really helping people. I'm so proud of you. You're doing great work.
And then it's fun, actually, because it's a really feeling like I can really help them. But it's not like helping because of my advice or tips, whatever. But, just showing them that what they are doing or what they are believing.
Yes.
And then showing it in the mirror. And then once they see it and they've understood, and then it's completely changed. Yeah.
Yes. Great work. Really, you're helping a lot of people.
Yeah. Thank you, Alan. I think you really taught me very, 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 very fine and good and great way that I could understand for years. Yeah.
Well, I had to offer it, but then you had to receive it. So I give you credit for receiving it. Thank you.
Actually, I was wondering what brought you to become a life coach. You have a long career as a coach. What was the main event that brought you in this world?
I was teaching group trainings for many, many years, seminars. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the group work. I still do. And I noticed that when I would work one-to-one with people in the seminar and walk them through their process, that was the most powerful moment of the seminar because they had a transformation. Everybody who looked upon them received the benefit because they could identify with the dynamics, maybe not the facts, but the dynamics. So I thought, well, I guess what I'm doing is some people call it coaching. But I said, well, let me see if I can pass these skills on to other people. So in 2009, I did an experimental group where I took 12 people and I taught them the techniques. And it was hugely successful. And there were two benefits besides the coach training. One is the coaches themselves had astronomical growth. Their personal growth was accelerated like yours was. And two, there was a sense of community. They began to bond and have friendships and see each other and support each other outside the training. So I thought, well, this is really good. Let me do it again. So I've been doing programs since 2009. We've graduated maybe, 800 people from US, Japan, and India now, teaching in India now. And it's really rewarding. It's just wonderful to see people learning techniques. But most of all, it's wonderful to see the coaches themselves grow and their own lives change.
Yeah,
and then they can pass those changes along to their clients.
And I'm one of them. And then I share these, learning from you and then for myself, share to the people every year 600 times.
Wow, that's great.
So
that's great.
It's growing, Alan. Yeah.
You attract a lot of people who are coming out of the corporate world like you did.
Yes, but it's a totally different. I think these days, especially last 2 years, were a tough time for everybody. Like COVID, and then everybody was quite separated or isolated.
Right.
And then felt lonely or start thinking about their own lives.
Yes.
And then, of course, if you really made a thought for such kind of things, you found you are stuck somewhere in life, or probably you found something you wanted to make, but you haven't done it yet. And you realize that you have to change your life. Of course, there are a lot of corporate people, but I feel there are so many different type of people. So housewives, mother and fathers, and musicians. I have quite a lot of musicians for some reasons, artists.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You mentioned the pandemic, and that's a really good example of a huge reframe because we're all stuck in our houses for a long time and you can't touch anybody. You can't go to a concert. You're wearing a mask. And it was really a time for a lot of people to go in because you literally could not do stuff in the outer world. So it drove people to their home, to their families. They had conversations with their children they'd never had. They had to think about, what am I doing with my life? Can I work at home instead of an office? Am I going to go into fear along with lots of other people, or am I going to maintain a high consciousness and be courageous and trusting? So there were huge, huge lessons for everybody around the pandemic. And some people really milked those lessons and made them work for ourselves. And other people just spun around in fear. So it's not so much what happens, but it's what we do with that, what happens, what we make of what happens that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think they have a totally different situation and totally different point of view last 2 years. Yes. So this is quite interesting because I feel the gap of the people is getting bigger and bigger in one way, because some people are shifted and then some people remain the same place.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So this is a big gap. Probably it's currently happening. Some conflicts in the world.
I think of it as parallel realities, that even on Earth, there are many different realities that are happening simultaneously. And some people are in war and fear and mistrust and conflict. And other people are seeing through the eyes of appreciation and love and connection and support and help. And so each of us gets to live in the world that matches the vision we're using to see it. And as you say, some people are just spinning around in fear, and other people are making the most of their lives. And so each of us has a big choice to make.
Yes. How do you think about the current situation? Like, COVID, I hoped actually it's gone this year, but obviously it's still there. But, another problem came over all of a sudden, the conflicts, Russian and Ukraine, etc. And then how do you think about it? And then do you have any messages for the people around?
Well, the thing about the world is that it's always something. If it's not one thing, it's another. You see, that's the nature of the world and ego. And, so we're getting rid of COVID, thank goodness. And now this Russia-Ukraine thing comes up. And that'll get handled somehow, and then there'll be something else. And, if you watch the news and you get sucked into all the fear and drama around it, your energy is going to go down, down, down. But if you have some spiritual values and you start to see that you have a choice about your perception, then that kind of stuff can't bring you down, and you become a force for peace. So if you're embroiled in the war news, you're going to be a force for war. But even while that's going on, if you look for signs of connection and positivity and creativity and hope, then there's plenty of those signs too. It's literally, which channel do you choose to watch? We have 1,000 channels on cable, and you can press a button and you switch to a different channel, and you see an entirely different movie. And that's a very metaphysical symbol, because at every moment, our perception is showing us which channel we're choosing. And then we get the problems or the benefits of that channel, depending on the quality of the channel.
Yeah, I think this is the best things to do, because you cannot obviously create completely new scenarios for the current situation. I mean, you are there and I live in this world, but what you can see and what you choose to see, you can choose by yourself. Yeah,
exactly.
So this is a channel, the really great example that you mentioned right now. But I think the key issue is that everybody believes that you can choose yourself.
Yes.
And you are not influenced, or you're just, the victim of something else. But actually you can choose for yourself. And then you have a power for that.
Then you become an influencer. Instead of being the influenced. And it's interesting because, the last big world problem a century ago was the Spanish flu. which actually killed more people than COVID. It was very serious around the world in the early 1900s. And the flu stands for influenza, which means influence. So the question is, what influence are you going to spread? The disease influence or the healing influence? And each of us has the power to spread one or the other.
You have a lot of careers. You wrote so many books, and you did great seminars and retreat and then training, and then a lot of things you achieved already. But I would like to know what your dream is from now on. Do you have anything?
Oh, my dream is to wake up. My dream is to wake up. I'm tired of dreaming. I want to wake up. So my dream is really inner peace. You know, I'm less focused on making things happen out there, but it's my own consciousness I'm working on. Mm-hmm. And if I go into fear, I would like to choose love more and more quickly. I want to stay connected to my own higher power. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really the inner work to me is really where my goals are, to just be a happy person and radiate happiness so people around me become happy too. That's regardless of the forms it takes. That's the dynamic and energy I'm interested in.
Beautiful. But I was wondering that whether you have also the moments that you're disconnected.
I go into fear or I get stressed or sometimes I get impatient. Like I had to wait in a dentist's office for an hour the other day and I began to get impatient. So I started to meditate. I just practiced meditation. And then the assistant came in and says, wow. He said, I was sitting in the private room waiting for the dentist. And I was just meditating and going in. And then the assistant comes in and he says, wow, you look like you're in deep meditation there. So I said, yes, I was. He says, you remind me I need to meditate more too. So, anyway, I was doing my best to stay peacefully while I was getting impatient waiting for the dentist.
By the way, I was in the hair salon yesterday and then it took 4 hours. 4 hours.
Well, 4 hours, wow. Well, hair came out nice, so maybe it's worth it. But it was pretty beforehand anyway, so it's okay.
So your actually tips that you want to connect instantly or quickly, you want to recover or align yourself, is that the meditation? And do you have anything else?
Spiritually speaking, no. It's like how quickly can I return to peace and how much can I maintain it? That's the real game. Besides that, I love being with my family, my doggies. We live in Hawaii. I love being outdoors in Hawaii. I love my writing. I write every day for a few hours. It's very happy for me. I love my coaching and my coach training. I do yoga. I mean, those are the things that sustain me in the physical world, even while I'm doing the spiritual work.
Do you have any message for audience?
Yeah. I think that each of us has been given many gifts. Maybe you're a mother, an artist, a musician, a business builder, a coach, a healer, a massage therapist, Reiki worker, a medical practitioner. We all have something that's passionate and we're excited about. Mm-hmm. And most of the people I work with have been hesitating to give their gift. I'm not ready. I'm not worthy. I need more training. Who's going to pay me? And so I think it's really time for each of us to have more confidence in the gifts that we have that we'd like to share and to quit withholding them. And what we'll find is that when we give the gifts, they actually work and people's lives change. And if we want to do it professionally, they'll pay us. But irrespective of money, just the very fact of letting your passion move and come forth and touch other people, that's healing to you. That's a channel of positive energy. And of course, it's healing to the world. So my basic message is don't hide your gifts. Let your gifts shine. And even if you don't have a particular profession, just being a happy person is a gift. So you at the checkout at the supermarket, or passing the policeman or the construction worker, and just a smile or a wave or a hello. These things change the world far more than anybody realizes. And if you want to contribute to healing the Russia-Ukraine conflict, be a happy person. You can't go there and do something, most of us, but just to carry the light with you throughout your day, that raises the frequency of everybody who touches you, who sees you. And as more and more people raise the frequency, the agreement on war is less and less. And war has less and less power to take away your peace. When peace and war meet, peace always wins eventually. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about inner peace. So each of us has to strive to stay in our inner peace and happiness as much as possible, and trust that our consciousness is the gift to the planet, and then we will see results. Maybe not immediately, but it always comes back to bless us when we shine our light. That's our purpose. Each of us is to be the light of the world, each in our own way.
It's a really great word from you, Alan. And I think this is also the really truth that everybody has the gift. Yes. And it shouldn't be like always appeared like Jesus Christ or Buddhas or I don't know,
Gandhi or Martin Luther King,
Gandhi's or any great leaders, famous leaders. But actually, our small gift that you can smile to somebody next to you, or you can share some kindness every day. Yes. And then this will bring a smile and then happiness, and then they are accepted, and then they accept you as well. And then this is a really big, wave to spread around in the world. So I really believe that what you said, that be happy. I mean, you just be kind and be happy, and then it will, in the end, save the world as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And this is a very good message for Japanese people, and we have a lot of Japanese viewers, because Japanese have been trained that your job is to sacrifice. And if you're happy, you're somehow taking away from somebody else's happiness. But it's the exact opposite. When you're happy, you're adding to somebody else's happiness. When you're sacrificing, you're bringing the world down. So, we want to encourage Japanese and all people to really recognize that your happiness is your gift. Your happiness does not take away from anybody, but it actually adds to everybody.
Thank you for the great, powerful message. And then I'm quite impressed to hear that. So I hope that my audience will be also impressed and probably change a little bit mind from the idea that the job is sacrificing, but it will be the happiness. And it will create you the happiness too.
Well, I'm really proud of the work you're doing. You're helping a lot of people, and your life has changed positively. So you're a great model for someone who's following her joy.
Thank you so much. So, and thank you for being in my interview, and then thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I've enjoyed it very much.